Bad stuff, where do I begin? Well, I have to begin with where it all began. I'm sure everybody knows what this is. This is the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. Well, what some of you may not know is that this introduced what is called the Gamebryo engine. It is a modified version of an engine that was introduced in Morrowind, and modified obviously because you all know that settlements in Oblivion have a completely different plane. Like, you load areas of the Imperial City differently than you would like the wilderness, so they're separate. I honestly think that this is the most superior kind of world map generation system, just because it makes the town feel more interconnected with the wilderness around it and doesn't make it feel separate when you're having to go through a loading screen every time you go out into the wilderness. So, but that's neither here nor there. They decided to go with the Gamebryo engine again. Now, Gamebryo was absolutely revolutionary for its time. Had a lot of good elements to it. It started to show its age in Fallout 3. Was still good. To a point. I'm sure everybody who's played Oblivion and Fallout 3 knows how buggy the games can get, but Fallout 3 didn't start to have any problems until the DLC was introduced. On my vanilla version of Fallout 3 and on plenty of other people's, Fallout 3 didn't really screw up. I mean, it screwed up maybe once or twice. It froze somewhat every now and then, like once every 4 or 5 times I played. This game, though, my first 15 minutes of the game, this thing froze. Once every 3 hours, this game will freeze. That's bad. That's very bad. And the fact that they decided to patch just the exploits for infinite caps and all that stuff, they decided to patch that, but not the actual issues. That really shows where Obsidian and Bethesda's priorities are. You've already spent the 60 bucks on this glitched out piece of crap. Why should they shell out any resources to make it a little more stable? I don't know. I really don't know. The Gamebryo engine is just an antique, and they really need, if they use the Gamebryo engine for the Elder Scrolls 5, I'm done with Bethesda. I'll play Morrowind, I'll play Oblivion, I will not play anything beyond that. Especially not this. Slowdown and freezes and glitches are so freaking common with this. Every time I go down Freeside, I see corpses flying 100 miles an hour in every direction just because they didn't clean up anything. It's like, if you cover a piece of shit in gold, what do you have? You have a gold-plated piece of shit. Do you feel any more special because it's gold-plated? I wouldn't. That's not even where some of the biggest faults of the game are, though. Some of the biggest faults are intentionally put in here, and that is invisible walls. Oh my god. If you're going to have an immersive sandbox RPG world, we've had this ever since Morrowind, Oblivion. You can jump up mountains. Any human could climb a mountain. It's been done before. So, don't tell me that you're going to put invisible walls right at the peak of the mountain when I've climbed up most of the way. You're going to put invisible walls everywhere. That's going to go into another part. Yeah, the game seems bigger, the world map seems bigger, but with all these invisible walls in place, it just is a ton smaller. Like, there is no exploring. You have one path to go in so many areas. Like, Ranger Station Foxtrot, which is near the Jacobstown, which is on the northwestern part of the map, I spent nearly an hour trying to find a way to get in there because I was so used to the immersive sandbox freedom of being able to climb up a mountain, go down the other side, and get to my destination. No. Now you're going to show me one very tiny little path to get there. I have to zoom in completely on my Pip-Boy to even see it. And the game isn't even bigger at all because most of its dungeons are irrelevant at best. Some of them have some unique loot, but nowhere near the degree of Fallout 3, and especially nowhere near the level of Oblivion. Like, how do you even compare? You don't even have as many dungeons. Most of these landmarks are of towns and of little pointless locations like the Cazador Nest, which isn't a dungeon, it's just a little Cazador Nest. Like, the only dungeons in this game that I see that have any merit are the ones with the legendary enemies, you know, the legendary Cazador, the legendary Night Stalker, the legendary Deathclaw. Oh my god, that's tough. But that's really it as far as dungeon substance goes. I can't emphasize enough the crashing. I have deleted all my save files. I've tried reinstalling this game. The crashes persist, and it's not my PS3. Don't tell me it's my PS3, because I'm not the only one that has this problem. And the PS3 is not the only system that has this problem. So, that goes into the last point, and this is more or less a rant on Bethesda's business practices in general. You know how people always say Microsoft with a $sign? I bought this because the Red Ring of Death steered me away. You're telling me that Bethesda's going to punish me for having bought this by having Microsoft put in its pocket a couple $1 million just so the PS3 doesn't get the DLC right when the Xbox 360 does. I'm not saying that we're superior to the Xbox players, but at the very least we're equal. I feel like a second-class citizen, and it's like, what, is my money no good for you? They announced this one day before launch, that the DLC was going to be screwed over. So they did this, pocketed all the pre-order money, and I hate pre-ordering. They did this, pocketed all the pre-order money, and when it was too late to actually take it back, when everything was on its way to be shipped, and they had the money in their pocket, and the only party that would lose out if you decided to cancel would be GameStop, Walmart, or whatever, then they decided to say, well, we're going to go with Xbox exclusive content for an undisclosed amount of time, and I'm fully aware that it's going to be at least 8 months before we get any DLC on the PS3. But you know what? You folks on the 360 can have your DLC, because this game stacks nowhere close to this game, and especially nowhere close to this game. Bethesda's fallen from grace since Morrowind, and I'm sincerely hoping for a change with the Elder Scrolls V. We'll see. I'm going to have to be pleasantly surprised to find out otherwise. Anyways, have a good day, everybody.